So let's go ahead and sit. Using a blanket if it helps, just lift your hips a little higher, and whatever works for you, any kind of cross-legged position. So how I like to begin a lot of times lately is just to put my hands on the ground, whether that's actually outside, if you get to sit outdoors, but just to ground yourself. So even if it's just the fingertips that can touch right now. And before you begin to close your eyes or even soften them, just kind of find your next breath. And then let it come out through the mouth. So take a couple here, inhaling. And I like to just like exhale anything out down through my arms that might be coming from my head, that might be in the way of me focusing or really just dropping into a more gentle, graceful attitude. So just letting a few more breaths kind of fill through your belly and broaden your rib cage. Just taking some time out for yourself means also giving grace in a way to yourself, like just kind of mixing in a little gratitude that you made time for this, you clicked on the button, you've shown up. So let's go ahead and then just start to float those arms. So as you inhale, draw the arms up. And then as you exhale, we're going to twist. So one arm comes forward, one arm goes back, and they just kind of gracefully find the ground. Your one arm can find that knee across in front of you on a diagonal, and the other hand finds the earth behind you or the blanket. And then just allow your chin to come over the shoulder. Explore one breath cycle here, just settling into your body, just grounding. I like to ground through the hips and kind of drop my pelvis. And then slowly unwind from that and bring your arms back up, reaching, palms just connect to the top. We'll take the twist to the other side. So think about exhaling and twisting your trunk over to the other side, letting that hand grab the knee. I feel a lot of tension in my chest these days, again, from rounding forward, lots of computer work. So as you breathe here, just kind of lift and try to parallel your chin towards the floor and kind of lengthen through the crown, taking your gaze around behind. And then exploring the next breath cycle, dropping down, letting the belly pull back on the exhale. A little contraction allows for a deeper expansion the next time around. And just listening to the breath, and then inhale, float those arms back and up overhead. Let's interlace the fingers, turn the palms upwards to the sky, stretch for the hands. And then as you exhale, begin to round your back, pulling the belly back and rounding. This is kind of that hunch position. And then just turn your hands here and call this tree hugger. So you can just release the hands and then interlace the fingers. And you're kind of just opening up the upper back for some breath, for some new energy. And as you exhale, relax the jaw, chin. And begin to tune into that nice little ocean sound or Ujjayi breath. And then as you inhale, bring it all back up. Let's open up the hands up overhead and just spin out the wrists a couple times in each direction. Keep letting your sitting bones drop down. You might feel a little uneven. That's okay. And then drop the right hand to the ground and stretch over to this right side. Start sliding your right hand out. Think about there being some nice space along the left side of the body. Spread the fingers, wiggle, look up at the elbow if it feels nice. And then pressing back up, lengthen, kind of engaging the core a little bit more each time. Maybe now starting to think about pelvic floor. Where do you feel? What do you feel? And exhale, left hand down. Again, no judgment on any of this. We're clearing out some space here. Maybe tuning into some sensations that you weren't aware of before. Bottom hand is supporting you. Look up if it feels good. Don't mind our squeaky doors here. You can hear that. Just little small wins here. So focusing for one breath, without being distracted or whatever that little small win is for you. Exhale, coming back up. Let's go ahead and just switch the cross of the legs around. Sometimes that feels awkward. It's good practice. And then we'll walk the hands behind. I'm gonna curl my blanket up so I can reach the ground. And then really thinking of the sun as you maybe let your head fall back. Think of the center of your heart where your ribs come together in the front as opening. And again, just making yourself full and feeling both parts, that fullness and that emptiness. And then as we come back up, taking a break just to neutral, chin down to the chest. Relax your face here. Really let gravity release tension. And then as you exhale, just come back to neutral. Let's lay on the back next. So I'm going to take the blanket with me and use it just for a little tiny pillow under the back of my head. You may not want that. It's up to you. Once you come onto your back, start with bent knees. And just place your hands on your belly or your pelvis. It is the new moon today. It was officially at 10:38. So this is generally, so now it's actually technically beginning to wax again. I think I have that right. So it's getting fuller, but just an hour ago, we were all still feeling that new moon, kind of introverted, sort of introspective mindset. So just give yourself a little space here for that today. Hands are on the belly. We want to just have the feet below the knees and do a few pelvic tilts. So all this will feel like is your tailbone. Notice where that's grounding. And you might even, again, just imagine you're laying on the earth. And as you breathe in, allow some space to come under your lower back. So you're ballooning your belly up. And then as you exhale, flattening that back. And we'll do a few like that. So the inhale, feel the fullness, and exhale. Start to really tune in to inside muscles, little spaces we don't think about as much. And you're gently kind of rocking. You might feel it in your shoulders and upper back. You may have to like adjust and get rid of that blanket. And especially as women, if this is like a cycle time for you, then it's good to just bring some energy, some gentle movement to this area, or some attention. So go ahead and pull your left knee in now to the chest and extend the right leg as long as that's okay for you. And then we're just crisscrossing the leg a little bit to warm up the hip. And you can think of this as circling. So if your hands are clasped around your knee, think of just circling around a little bit. And you might find like it's not a perfect circle. That's okay. Try the other direction for a couple moments. Notice your breath here. If you're holding, just kind of smile at that. Extend your left leg now up. And I can reach my calf so I can massage a little bit. You don't have to worry if it needs to be bent a little, that's fine. It's just up to you, wherever you reach. You can always just hold behind the knee as well. And then start circling out at your ankle. Today's practice is really kind of gentle. It's almost like getting back to the practice if you've kind of been away from your body for a little while. Turn your ankle the other way. Then this is a really nice flow to just really kind of gently come back without any, judgment or overdoing. So go ahead and bring this into figure four. So left ankle to the right knee. So your right shin is parallel. And if you can reach your hands through, you could hold behind or in front of the right knee. So just flattening the lower back, feeling as much ground below you. Filling the whole chest and belly. Letting your breath out softly, just being aware. Feeling the stretch perhaps on the left hip, glutes, the side of the thigh. You can always rock your head and neck here. And then I like to drop this right into a twist from here. So tee out your arms and then just tip over to the right. So that left sole of the foot might land down. If not, you could like pull in a pillow or anything. I use my right hand here to grab the ankle and I get a deep stretch along the left side. Keeping that left arm extended and then rocking the head back to neutral. So find kind of what makes your head and neck happy. Chest is stretching here, pec muscles. And so just really let yourself be here. Try to soften into the toes, into the belly. Letting that upper back become grounded. Nowhere else to be at this moment, just kind of being here, taking note of sensations. One more breath cycle right here. If your eyes want to close, you can tune into the sound of your breath. And then bring yourself back out, whatever way feels best to you. I like to just come back to center and release. Hug both knees in for a minute. Let's lift the head and the shoulders up off the mat and draw everything in, ball pose. So you're going to actively push your knees, or shins I should say, into your arms. And it kind of lifts your body and makes like a little rocking motion. Come back down, and this time let your left leg go long. And if it doesn't go long, you can keep the knee bent. So either all the way flat on the mat. And then we're just starting with that little rocking here in the right hip, and then moving into circles. Ujjayi breath, it's such a nice way to focus and activate the vagus nerve and kind of tune us into our nervous system. So for me, that little sound is always a reminder in the back of the throat. Nice thing to focus if your mind starts running away. Extend that right leg now, and just notice you might have a different scenario here, so it's okay. More stretch, less stretch, whatever is happening. Present, moment to moment awareness. We're circling the ankle and then circling the other way. Just time it out for yourself as you breathe, and hold wherever you need to hold here. Try to keep the shoulders and as much of the back on the mat so the head and neck is supported. And you can always have some blanket. You can try it either way. And then we move to figure four. So bend the right leg, bring your left knee up, and cross the right ankle to the left knee. So I guess you can do it all sorts of different ways. You can keep, the left ankle flexed or the right ankle flexed, one or the other usually. And then reach your arms through. Grab a hold of either behind or in front. Once again, tune in, try to drop as much of the back. So for me, I'm having trouble with the trapezius area, the upper back and neck muscles getting really tight. And so consciously bringing those down to make some space to connect and to open up the front body a little bit more. And that might mean tucking your chin to the chest a little bit, which also helps you to hear that sound and to activate the largest nerve in the body. When you're ready, dropping into that twist, so we're going to drop the knees over to the left. I keep hold left hand to right ankle and kind of just tipping over, and then letting things find like a good resting spot. Right arm extends out, either palm down or palm up. Try and see just kind of what works for you today. There's not really a wrong way. It's just, listening to your body, honoring. And then a deep full breath, really sink in, settle here, and allow the stretch through the right side. Feel free to close your eyes. Take a couple more rounds here. Slow and easy in the breath. This pause that we take in the day to really just bring attention to everything that's happening moment to moment. It gives back. It's such an investment. And sometimes we, forget to do it. We forget how much it helps. So no big deal. Just having that breath of gratitude maybe now. And honoring any of the sensations. You might feel like things happening in your knee. Just take one more moment to be here and see. And again, check in with that upper body or any places that for you. Could be your lower back as well that are sort of tender. And this is a really nice time to tend to ourselves, the new moon. Slowly unwind. You might come back to center differently than you did last time. That's okay. Draw your legs in. One more time, ball pose. So lift the head, wrap those arms around, and push your arms forward into your, push your shins forward into your arms. Nice. And then just release, take a nice long stretch for a moment, and just sigh it out. Any heaviness, like, let it go. Just kind of anything that might have gotten loosened up there in those first stretches. And then we're going to roll over. So rolling over to your side and find a way to come up onto your hands and knees. So twisting tabletop is one of my favorite kind of go-to everyday poses, especially when, like I said, you know, I've been away from my practice a little bit just because I was doing a lot of training and other stuff. And so coming to this little sequence is really nice. Let's just start here in neutral. So I've got toes curled under, hands below shoulders. And then we're just going to take that little tail wagging. So we're looking over our shoulder to the heel. So if my hips go to the right, then the gaze goes over to the left. And then you just breathe with this. So do a few like this. Inhale, center, hips lean left, gaze goes back to the right heel. And it's a really nice opportunity to really relax the belly muscles, stretch out the front body, open and also activate your eye muscles. So take a couple more. So this is moving the spine laterally, which is not something that we do in functional movements. So it's really good. Really allows for some nice energy flow. And it's gentle and feels good. So when you're ready, just coming back to center, I'm going to start with lifting the left arm. So we'll keep the right hand where it is. Sometimes you can play around with moving it, but for me, usually right hand below right shoulder. And then as we exhale, just bring that left arm up. And this is way harder than it looks, I find, maybe the tight shoulders. So looking up, just reaching through that top hand, and then bringing that all the way back down. We'll do the other side. So just go ahead and readjust your knees. Remember our pelvic tilts we did on the back? We can do that here a couple times too if we need. It basically is cat and cow. So if you want to actually pause for the other side and just do a couple, drop the belly for cow, lift the chin, exhale around the back. That's feeling really good today. Exhaling as you move. And taking that twisting table on the other side when you're ready. So left hand will stay down. Inhale, prepare. As you exhale, right arm reaches up. Again, looks simple, but for me, a lot of stress has been living in my chest and shoulders, so that's a lot. Take another cat and cow here on your own time. And then let's go for child's pose. So this is going to be widening the knees out a little bit, dropping the tops of the feet, walking the hands forward as the hips start to sink down, a resting pose. Drop your elbows if you have a lot of tension in your upper back. And as you sink your forehead down, bring the palms together and then begin to tip, bend at the elbows, tip your thumbs towards the back of the head. And broaden here in the next few breaths, just really allowing yourself to feel the body moving simply by, the act of breathing. And so the palms are pressing together, the fingers are spread wide, there's energy all the way to your fingertips and all the way to your toes. And take 3 more breath cycles, feeling your whole back body receive the breath, the ribs widening. And feel yourself maybe letting go of little places, little patterns of holding. And then slowly beginning to move up out of the pose. We're going to go for a side plank variation next. So if you do like to have some padding under your knee, then move your blanket in. I'm going to start with the right knee down. I have the blanket there. And we'll have the right hand down, and then we'll spin over so that we can extend that left leg long and bring the left hand to the left hip. And just find your balance, find yourself in this different plane of motion here, and then left arm reaches up to the sky. And I like, sometimes you can like take that foot off if you want to play with balance, or just keep the toe down, but start to extend your left arm really long. You can be free with this. You're free to make a big circle. You're free to draw that left arm back to kind of open the chest more, maybe to look at the bottom hand. Just feel some breath. Maybe spin out the wrists a little. And then slowly just release, coming back. Sliding over to the left knee. Setting up so that that left knee is down, the left hand is down, that right leg is going to extend out, and right arm goes up. Feel lots of length and space. Make any adjustments as needed here. Just really reaching, thinking of the breath washing through this whole right side. Drawing the arm back, maybe you're circling it differently. Coming down when you're ready. My body just is like, whoa. Take it for a puppy pose next. So this one, we keep the knees close together, and then really draw your hips back as you begin to drop your head. So similar to child's pose, but reaching, and you can keep your palms lifted as you rest your head. Try those exhales with a sigh. And then using almost like to come to a cat pose, you use your core muscles to roll back up, let your arms stay heavy, and just kind of wiggle them out a little bit. And then we're going to go for full plank pose. So set your hands below your shoulders, keep your feet together. And when you're ready, you can either lift both knees or one knee at a time. And just try to rock forward and back as we start to move into some more strengthening postures. Begin to really just tune into that. Where does the muscle connect with the bone? Here you are with this life force energy flowing through, and just celebrating that. Celebrating that for the moment that you're able. And then you can drop your knees for a moment. Take cat-cow and prepare for downward dog, which I like to do as a bent knee version first, or called crouching cats sometimes in some traditions. So it looks more like this, a bent knee. You just stepped your toes a little bit closer towards your hands maybe, and then maybe even a little wider sometimes for the hips can feel nice. So just kind of want to feel like a bit of an animal on your paws. You've got your hands and your feet, and they both have muscles in them, and we want to strengthen those, we want to activate those. So you can be light and kind of be playful with it a little bit. Take a few breaths, and then if you just really want that deeper leg stretch, you can step your toes back further and begin to lower the heels, thinking of that traditional upside down V shape. And then slowly begin to walk it forward. So you can bend your knees again and think about taking baby steps. Like there is no rush. It's actually, we kind of want to go as slow as we can. And to come forward into that forward fold position, but keep those knees bent a little bit if your lower back is tender today. And then place your elbows on your knees and start to drop the hips down. So we're setting up for chair pose. So come up slowly. We can have sort of low blood pressure moments, so be careful. And just take a moment to adjust. So let's take the chair pose anywhere from feet hip distance apart with knees bent a little bit to feet all the way together, which it's up to you really what you're up for today. And remember our pelvic tilts at the beginning? So we would have like forward or back. So just find a little neutral place where you can feel that your thighs are engaging from both sides, hugging up, and then bring hands to the heart. And then just sink into your power here. And your power is really coming from within, but also like from the center of the earth. So if you can press your palms gently together, align with your breath, and just tap into that. Imagine that you're pulsing kind of with the earth. So you can feel that aliveness. You could sink it deeper. And then if you'd like to extend your arms out, and then straighten up. Give your legs a little rest here. As you breathe in, take it up. Just take it back. Be creative with your arms. Bring them up alongside the ears. And just really kind of take a moment to explore for you that full length. I like to lift and spread the toes at this time. And then just bring your hands together and bow back down forward. So kind of taking that hinge at the hips and just taking it slowly through back down to that forward fold. Tuck the chin a little bit here to release the head and neck. You don't have to have your legs fully straight. The more you bend your knees, the more space in your lower back. Let your arms dangle or take hold of the opposite elbow. And again, today's practice is kind of a slow moving one for when we've been away from our practice a little bit or we've just forgot to stretch for a few days. And so just coming back home to the body with grace. Let's start to return to that chair position again. So as you drop your hips, you can lift your shoulders, bring the hands up to the heart again. And one thing that I like to do with this pose is to take opposite elbow and imagine that I'm pushing down onto a table. And that seems to open up some space in the upper back, especially when you reach up through the top of your head. So it'll help you kind of bring those shoulders down the back. You're activating a lot of muscles again in the legs and core. You guys look great. Drawing up through the top of the head. Use the breath to support your focus here. You might feel a little shaking, a little quivering, some warmth. All good. Reach up, straighten, rest. Inhale, draw the arms up. And again, this is just expanding and kind of releasing. Let your arms slowly sweep down. And then as you bring your hands back to the heart center, begin to just bow forward one more time. So release, relax, check in with your feet, maybe rock, lifting your heels and then lifting your toes. To kind of just notice if there's any tension building here. We'll do this one more time, the same little sequence. Shake the head yes and no just a little bit before we start to drop back to that chair pose. And then as you're ready, start to activate all parts of your thighs. Get that pelvic floor awakened, draw upwards through the top of your head. And then switch positions of your arms. So whichever one was on top before. So think about your tailbone like an arrow pointing down towards the earth. But feel the pulse or the energy of the earth, daytime, sun energy up through your feet, activating in your body. Feeling your own sense of power here. And then to release, go ahead and straighten, stretch those arms up once again. And this time, just kind of taking a moment to shift from foot to foot. Keep your arms overhead. I'm twisting out my wrists, even though you can't see on video. And just find that hip distance or a comfortable position for a moment. And then we'll take hold of one wrist. With your arms up, taking hold of your wrist. So grabbing right hand to left wrist. Grounded through the feet, soft bend in the knees, stretch over to the right side. Notice where your head is in this. So draw back a little, relax the jaw and the tongue. And look down. See if you can peek at the edge of your foot or the edge of your mat, whatever you see. And we're breathing into this left side. And then inhale, coming back up. Switching the grab, you can release your arms if they're tired. Taking the left hand, grabbing onto right wrist, just reset your feet a little bit. A little tiny soft bend in the knees. This just helps you kind of press down to activate the leg muscles. So that as you exhale over, you're reaching to the left, you're breathing into the right side body. Again, it may not look like much, big fancy pose, and yet it's one of those movements that we don't naturally get into. So it's very helpful. to freeing up energy and to like keeping everything moving in the spine healthily. Come back to center. Relax your arms behind. And then we'll meet again when you're ready in a warrior one stance or feet footing. So your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. And it's about hip distance apart on your mat, so you feel nice and stable. Now, whatever direction you're looking at, just find something to focus on. We're going to bring the arms behind the back and grab opposite elbow. So there's sometimes, again, like I said, today's practice is all about opening up. And I love these kinds of things that we don't do in our functional life because we live so much in this plane that I need my yoga to be kind of balancing. So it's the opposite. So setting your feet, thinking about your core beginning from the core of the earth, actually. So think of lifting the arches of your feet a little bit. So they're not just clenching, but there's a sense of awareness up through the inner thighs and around the spine. And then from here, just start to slowly shift your gaze upwards. So it may go up to the ceiling. Your front knee is bent a little bit, so you may adjust your stance as you're in it. And I also like to play with reverse prayer hands here. So from here, this is sometimes available, sometimes not. So you can stay right here or work your palms together so they're pressing into each other, which then opens your shoulders again even more, elbows back, and then the focus is up for a breath. And then just straighten your front leg so we can tip it forward. So wherever your arms were, you can release it kind of back or even just free them back. I like this one for the triceps. Think of having some weight in your hands, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. So your head is reaching forward, micro bend the front knee. And we work towards a pyramid. This is already a pyramid pose. If you want to go deeper, if you just know, okay, yeah, I need to go down, I want to, you can go down, hands to the floor or blocks. And any kind of bend that you want to add, generally here, the deeper stretch is really for the hamstring, so to keep the leg mostly straight. However, you can modify things for your body. So tune into the next two breaths and sink in. Just be where you are with no agenda other than a big check mark that you've already showed up and you're here breathing. So you've done it. Awesome. Slowly start to soften your front knee from that stretch. And then keep your hands framing your left foot. You might want to move more to the center of your mat. It's up to you. And then we're just going to wiggle that right foot back further. Drop this into a low or a lunge, I should say, like a runner's lunge. You could also put your knee down if your leg is tired. So your choice, knee down, right knee down, or lift it. And then right hand stays on the mat. We'll take a nice twist. So left hand to left knee. Look over your left elbow for the first breath and just feel the energy rock back through your right heel. Then whenever, if it feels good to take that left arm up towards the ceiling, reach, and then start to lower, reach back. I like to rotate the arm here and fold it around the small of the back, but any of those things that work for you, anything that feels good in that range, again, are kind of opening the back body, the front body. And then releasing the pose, drop the back knee. And straighten the front leg. So this is a gentler version of what we just did, a gentler pyramid pose. But you can play a little bit with your ankle here. So instead of flexing, which will activate your calf muscle point, by putting your foot down, you stretch the top of the foot. Head can lower towards the knee as much or as little as you'd like. This could be dynamic if you prefer. Going back forward, just being kind of mindful of your own body. And then slowly coming up, lift that right knee up. And let's see if we can come to high lunge. So pressing strongly into that front foot with the knee over the ankle, just lifting the upper body, using balance here, bringing ourselves back up. And then for fun, just extend those arms. So reaching up, reaching down, making any gesture with your hand that feels fun to you. Sometimes using this mudra, the A-OK, just feels nice to kind of connect, tune in to anything. Spread the other fingers. And then release the arms down. Take a giant step forward with your right foot. And then just take a moment, kind of notice both legs. We're going to do the other side. So our warrior with the right foot forward. So taking a moment to set it up, right? That back foot, we actually are starting in warrior one. So we want the heel to be all the way down and the right knee bent. And just taking a moment to bring your arms back and see there's like a natural way that we do that. And then there's a sort of an awkward way. So try the awkward way this time. And if there's neither is awkward, just make sure you kind of like feel like it's the other grab. I almost might want to like roll your shoulders a little bit just to kind of feel into that. Take a deep breath, feeling your knees stacked over your ankle. And then there's that upward motion. You're moving your gaze. Your gaze from your eyes is all about your focus. And it's more challenging to look up, especially for outside. This is a fun one to do outside, but much more challenging. There's nothing for the eyes to focus on. So you want to let the shoulders go. Okay, if you did try the hands in prayer, you can kind of reset and try that here as well. You want to feel a nice stretch in your back calf. Feel free to just come out of the pose if it's time for you. We go to pyramid next, so we start to straighten the front leg and release those arms back. And if releasing them out just like this is just like not enough for you, you can always interlace the hands and you'll feel more of a squeeze in the shoulder blade area, which can be nice. You can also just keep your hands on your lower back. But really just feel your focus here, keeping your spine long and straight, which you're using your core muscles. And then dive down if you'd like, hands to blocks or the floor. Take your time. Feel into your feet and just adjust, heel to toe a little bit. If you find some tension there, make sure your arches are lifting. Let yourself have that connection of arch of foot to pelvic floor. So that begins to become like a natural workflow in a way in your body. Nice. One more breath if you want. This is such a deep pose. Really works so many of the large leg muscle groups and also really brings that sense of surrender in the mind and the heart. So bowing forward over yourself like this is, for me, it's just like one of my kind of favorite go-to poses. Begin to soften the right knee and then wiggle that left foot back. Keeping your left hand down, bring your right hand to your right knee. And so you can just rock forward a little bit and kind of feel into the power here in your left supportive hand, but also really in that left leg. And then when you're ready, if it works, reach up with the right hand. Look up. Feel free to follow your gaze, keeping it maybe on the thumb as you reach back. This can be a lot in the shoulder or the arm, so be careful. Honor you. Folding is nice too. Keep that knee bent in front, active in the back leg. Use your eye muscles to turn and look. And notice where is the breath. What does it sound like? And then drop the left knee here and rest for a moment. You can soften the top foot if you'd like. As you release your hand, we'll go ahead and straighten the right leg. And just try to keep the right toes down for the first part so we get this like nice little ankle stretch. And then flex the ankle if you'd like for more of that calf stretch. And again, just gentle. Try to keep your shoulders soft here, even though they're helping you balance a little bit. Just try to keep it loose. Take another moment. And then slowly bringing that weight back to the front leg, curling the back toe under. Be prepared to come to that standing lunge. So just pressing up off the hands, finding your balance, hands to hips. The back heel is lifted so that both legs are active. And then as you're ready, send those arms up. Draw the shoulders down, feel the shoulders in line with the hips, almost like everything is kind of squared off now. One more deep breath. Notice any shaking, quivering, warmth, focus, power, whatever it is that you notice. When you're ready, bring your hands to that heart center together. Just a little bit of press, left into right, right into left. And we're going to take that big step forward with the left foot. Just bringing it up and planting it beside the left. And then taking a moment to just step wide and kind of circle out and just be free. I like to just like circle out the pelvis a little bit. Notice how everything's feeling. Notice yourself awake and alive in the moment. And we'll take one more of those lateral reaches. It just feels so good in the body. So again, you can just kind of bounce from like be up on the, yeah, let's lift the heels actually. This is good. Lift the heels. And then lower the heels and see if you can lift your toes. This is our balance. I'm sure I'm not leaning against the wall. It's hard. It's really hard to balance on the heels, right? So just do a few of those. Check it out. Kind of have fun with it too. Just laugh. You could make it more challenging by lifting your arms up. Try lifting your heels. Okay, so one more of those lateral stretches, just a little bit different here this time. So inhale, both arms up, and then take the right hand down along your right thigh, and then just reaching over. So you're sliding that right hand down. You might actually prefer to do this with feet together, so try that if you'd like. Big toes together, ankles together. As you inhale up nice and long for that left hand, remember lift up the pelvic floor as well, and as you exhale, slide that right hand down a little bit. And you can look over the edge if you will. Try not to be rounding forward here. We're trying to keep ourselves really open in the side plane. You might get some sensations in your arms. Listen for the breath. Inhale, come back up. Add that right arm back up. We're going to take the left hand down to the thigh. So really reaching like towards the sky here with all your energy. As you inhale, lift those muscles inside your body. Those help stabilize the spine so that as you're leaning over to the left side, keeping the shoulder back in line, kind of with the ear. No expectations from this other side of the body. It's okay if it feels smaller, the movement. Notice if you're holding your breath, and then slowly come back up. Nice job on all those muscles kicking in, all the spinal muscles along the way. We're going to do one more last little balancing challenge, and this is going to be a chair pose balancing on the toes, and then going down to a squat. So you can do parts of this. It doesn't have to happen all together. It's up to you. So we'll come up onto the toes again, making yourself nice and tall, really feeling that strength up through the calves. Hands can be wherever, hands at the heart maybe. Find a focus to a spot to focus on, and then you're going to bend your knees and come into that chair pose, but keeping your heels lifted. So there could be some shaking, okay? But this is the fun of it, is just like doing things a little differently, adding that challenge. So you can just play with your chair with this heels lifted pose. And there might be some wobbling. Your muscles are a little fatigued now. I probably should have done this first. Nice job, nice focus. Press your palms together. And you can either come back up to standing and then rest your heels down. And then we'll go ahead, or you can, if you want that extra challenge, from your heels lifted version, go into your chair pose. And then you can come all the way down to your squat, the balancing squat. And then we'll come to seated on the mat. So just bringing in a blanket. It's just that kind of new moony day. So let's sit in deer pose, which is one of my favorites. You don't necessarily need the blanket. In fact, I don't think I'll use it right now. Left leg will be bent and right leg's folded back. And then take a nice twist. So first of all, just center yourself. So if I was leaning this way, it's all about bringing that awareness into that back hip, the right hip, and just centering here. And then from there, taking your hands on either side of the left knee. And this could be a nice place, or you may want to twist further around to your left side and lengthen up. You can also come onto your forearms, which would look like being down on your elbows by the left knee. And as you can see, this is kind of, you're almost into a pigeon pose. So if you wanted to go there, come back up. And if you don't want to go there, just stay where you are, or you can always come back in and out. Straightening that right leg out, begin to roll over. I have a blanket here on the left side, which I might just slide underneath that left sits bone, just to make sure that that left knee is okay. Then squaring the hips to the floor, making sure that back foot is flat. Be here, drop lower, sink onto your elbows again, your forearms. Feel free to support your head and neck, bring a block in, pillows, or make a little pillow with your hands. Feel free also to stay up, or if you want a more challenging practice, more of a back bend, is to activate those hip muscles from the inside and to extend your arms up. Maybe this just happens for a breath or two. And then maybe you fold forward from there. So just choosing, playing around a little bit. And one more challenge, if you're up for it, is to bend that right knee and reach with your left hand, which takes you into like one final more big twist. Really good shoulder opener as well. I would suggest looking back and then looking forward, and then just really being mindful of how you let go. We want to make sure we let go safely. And then just meeting back in deer pose, so easing out of all of that. Coming to the other side, so just flip-flopping the legs. So we've got the right leg folded in, and now that left hip is kind of popping up. We're just finding that neutral, if you think of a straight line from your crown to your tail. And just taking a moment to kind of breathe and let the body adjust to this side, making sure the foot's okay here. It can be flexed or pointed. I think flexed might be a little bit more opening, more challenging for the hip. So then taking that nice inhale to twist, bringing those hands around, so especially that left arm to the outside of the right knee. Then you can take it fully around all the way up to your neck, so you feel that nice mobility. Or maybe you're just going low, you're backing off a little bit and kind of staying low. Try to keep the hands relaxed, try not to make fists, but let it be either up or down or wiggly. Whenever you feel ready, if you're going to that next variation of pigeon, you can start to bring that right foot forward and roll over. So the left knee is down, the left top of the foot is down. If you wanted to bring in some blanket, just begin to square your hips to the floor, open up for that nice reach, and then just choosing any of those variations or anything different that you know, as long as it's safe for you here. Interlacing the last three fingers and aligning the index and the thumb is a really nice mudra, very powerful, very energizing. So up to you. What do you want to choose? The reclined version is always there for you. How does your breath sound now? Is it smooth and easy? Sometimes it's not, and that's okay. If you're taking that extra twisty variation here, where you bend your left knee now, and you'll take your right hand around for the ankle or the heel. Remember to just breathe and look forward, kind of align, make sure this feels good in your alignment, and also looking back perhaps to tune into the hips and the shoulders. It's a huge, huge stretch. And then releasing, taking a moment to just sink back, left leg bend, and just come back to that deer pose for a moment, noticing. And then bringing the legs together in front for tortoise. So lining them up so there's like a diamond shape, and the soles of the feet are together. It's always nice to end in symmetry. We're going to do legs up the wall for our final resting pose today. So we'll sit here for just a moment as you think about, do I have what I need? Is there a wall, or legs up the couch, or legs up a chair? Anything where your upper back can be laying down, and that'll ground your shoulders. How I would do it here in my house is folding my blanket up or having a bolster and lining it up at the wall. So you're welcome to go ahead and set that up. And I'll just show you how I get into it is by coming up really nice and close. And then rolling onto the blanket, adjusting that blanket so it's underneath my hips and lower back. Making sure by pressing my head down that everything's in a good alignment, shoulders are nice and soft. And then hanging out here. And you can do anything here that you would like. If this legs up straight doesn't feel good, you've got butterfly here, and you've got frog, legs a little wider, even the straddle. So there's lots of different shapes or ways, but if you're ready just for some stillness now, go ahead and let the legs just rest in your hip sockets. So just let the head and neck now be still once you find that level of comfort. Letting your chest muscles relax and release. Letting your heels and all parts of the legs just unwind. Maybe you'll let your first finger connect with the thumb, or any finger can connect with the thumb, or any number of kind of combinations that feel good to you, or perhaps just palms down or palms up. So many choices. Just don't overthink, just allow that natural inner guide to come out now, and take a listen as you rest. Let your forehead be smooth. Allow your eyeballs to just drop back away from the surface. Maybe bringing a little lift to the corners of your lips, if it's naturally comfortable. With the tongue relaxing, let the jaw be heavy. Swallow and notice your throat muscles. Releasing neck muscles, shoulders, arms. And feeling the chest, the front of the body, just soften and sink into the back body. Noticing cool breath in the nostrils. It's rising and it's falling away. Letting that natural breathing guide you. If at any time during this kind of a resting pose you get a message or feedback from the body that this isn't the right posture for you today, I invite you to just slowly bring those knees into bend, roll over to your side, and just gently move into a position like a regular corpse pose that might feel more comfortable for you today. In fact, if you're ready, you might just do that slowly now, just to be fair to time. And just slowly beginning to gently move and come back to a seated position. Bring your hands in front of your heart. And bring that up to your forehead. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.